Hello there, it's Michelle from CNC Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in New Zealand, and I'm here to bring you another Global Monthly Video Hop. So once a month, myself and other demonstrators from around the world create projects based on a theme. And the theme for November is CASE the Catty. So what that means is we are recreating projects that you can find in any of the Stampin' Up! Catalogs. So before I forget, if you look in the description below, you will find links to the other videos for the demonstrators that are participating this month. So please, once you finish watching this video, and give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more, click on the links below so you can go over to the other demonstrators' videos and see what they've recreated from the catalogs. So I am casing the Mini Catalogue. So CASE, if you're not familiar with it, is an acronym, CASE, and it stands for Copy and Share Everything, or Copy and Selectively Edit. So with Stampin' Up, we encourage everybody to show their designs because we love to see what everybody's been making, but also so people can get ideas, inspiration, and maybe even just copy it. Sometimes we change it up, sometimes we don't. And if you're not familiar with the catalog, so this is the mini catalog for September, December 2023. We also have a main catalog that's good for 1 year. And the fabulous thing is there's always wonderful projects in here. So if you don't know what to do with your stamps or your dies, just look at the catalog. Start from there. And quite often when you start copying something from the catalog, it inspires you to change it up and make something completely different. So sometimes I just don't know where to start with some of my stamps, and I look at the catalog, I go online, I look at other demonstrators' ideas, and sometimes I copy them completely, sometimes I just get inspiration to do other things. So the other thing is, in the description below, I will list the products that I use in this video. So if you wish to purchase any of them, you can find the product numbers listed to make it easy for you to buy. So talk to your demonstrator. If you live in New Zealand, don't already have a demonstrator, you can go to my website, michellekritchley.stampinup.net, and choose the products there, or contact me through my website if you have any questions. I'd love to help you out so you can get crafty. So in the mini catalog, there's lots of projects I've been copying. Let me find the page. I am going to be using these products. That's page 39. I'm using the Sparkling Snowflakes bundle. So there's stamp set and there's a punch that's a tag topper punch. And so you can see some really interesting projects there. But what I'm going to do, if you're not familiar with the catalog, usually in the back of the catalogs, they have a section that kind of sums up what you've seen already in the bundles, etc. So I'll show you the beginning of that section. So here it says bundle and save. And then it shows you more projects showing you how to use the bundle in different ways and ideas as well. So these are different than on the page where the bundle first appears. And what I'm going to case today is on page 72. I'm going to do this card. Now, being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, besides the fact that we get everything at a discount, we get early access to some projects, early access to the catalogs, etc. We also have access to download a samples recipe file. And in that, it tells you the products that they use for all the samples that have been done in the catalogs. So if you're ever wondering how they made something, ask your demonstrator, or if you are a demonstrator, download the sample recipe, and you'll be able to find how they made things. It's listed under the page numbers of the different products. So for this one, I looked it up. I already have the Snowflake bundle, which is the Sparkling Snowflake stamp set and the Sparkling Snowflake punch. But I want it to know, okay, what colors, what cardstock, etc. So they're using basic white. So for this project, you just need your card already prepared in basic white. So here in New Zealand, we use A4. So this is half a sheet of A4 scored in the middle to create the A6 size card. And then you need a strip there. Now I know with the tag topper, this width here is 2 inches. Now they always do these in imperial measurements because everything is designed in the United States. But the 2-inch width equals about 5 centimeters, 5.1. And if you're not sure how to convert, if you have our paper trimmer, it's got metric on the top, imperial on the bottom. So look for the 2 inches and just go straight up. So that's 5.1 to be exact, or you could do 5 centimeters. So you need a strip that size. And looking at this picture, it looks like it goes top to bottom. And I tested it out, and I think it's better if it's slightly shorter. So I cut a strip that's 2 inches, and it's 5 centimeters shorter than the full height of the card. So I put it at 14.3 centimeters. So just make it just a snip it, little tiny bit shorter than your card, because we're going to punch it and it's going to lose a little height there. The colors it mentioned in here was Orchid Oasis, Fresh Freesia, and it said Blueberry Bushel. But looking at that and testing out stamping beforehand, Blueberry Bushel was too blue. I didn't really see it there. So I grabbed Gorgeous Grape. So I'm going to go with that. Those are the colors I'm going to use. And the silver twine. So you don't need a lot for this, just white cardstock, silver twine, and a couple different colors. So with this, I'm going to copy it completely. But if you want it, you could selectively edit it. So you could change up the colors, which I think would look quite nice. I prefer the snowflakes in colors of blues and greens. And I did a test run. This is one I was doing, playing around with weeks ago. So that's in the blues and green shades. And I did the two ends just to see what it would look like. And then here, I actually did the solid background on some of the snowflakes. But for their design, it looks like they didn't use that. But there was some blending involved. So let's get started and make this, or try to make this card. So first of all, we're going to cut our tag, but we're going to double end it. So put one end all the way in, push down, and there you get your top. And then we're going to turn it around, push it all the way in, and push down. Okay. Now having done that, see how it gives me a decent distance from the top and the bottom. And that to me looks kind of like what it was in the picture. So that's being left white. Made a mess everywhere. And this does get stamped with the Let It Snow words. So again, I tested. So I haven't actually made this card before. That's why I can't show you a sample. I just looked at the catalog and thought, oh, I'll just make it on the video. But I did do a little stamping to test it out. And just to show you, I love using my grid paper for everything. So I tested out the Let It Snow. Now that is in Orchid Oasis. But see, that's Blueberry Bushel, which looks way too dark for their design. So that's why I decided to change it up. So for the Let It Snow, it looks like they stamped it 3 times, roughly in the center, and then that gave space at the bottom for the silver twine. And because this is see-through photopolymer, you can see what you're doing. So that one. Now see how I got that real messy, but because I didn't wobble it, none of the mess went on there. And then just put a bit of twine around the bottom. Now I probably should have put those a bit further away, but I think that looks good enough. And then we will close this up so I don't drop something in my ink. So the twine comes from the Simply Elegant trim. You get gold and silver. So you could do this again in colors that would lend themselves more towards the gold. So we're going to get the silver twine out. And I tend to do things on the roll. That way I don't waste a lot. So it looks like they've tied a bow somehow. The other option is you just tie the string around and then you tie the bow on it afterwards. So let's see if we can do this. Oops. Don't want it to be too tight. Now, if you're having trouble holding it in place to tie the next knot, which I think that's not going to be long enough, get out your embossing additions set if you have that, because in that set there are are they called tweezers? So in that set you get the grips, and they're closed and you push them to open them, so without touching them they stay closed. And it's really good to give you an extra hand if you're crafting on your own and you can't call somebody in and say, put your finger there. So I will use that, pop it there to hold where I want my knot to go, and do a knot. So it's like having an extra finger. And then pulling that, just press to open it loosely, and there's my knot. So that's part of the Embossing Essentials pack, which comes with the tray, comes with that, and the end of this is ceramic, so it doesn't heat up when you're holding things while you emboss them, and the embossing buddy. So it's a really good set to get if you don't already have it. And now we'll just tie our bow. And I ended up having it too big, but that's okay. Better too big than not big enough. And see, I have a little splotch. I did splotch it, so I'm just going to slide that down to kind of cover that up. You'd probably get another Let It Snow in there. I didn't do those up high enough. Okay, so that's going to be on the front of our card. See, in the picture that looks like a shorter card as well, but that's what I'm going to go with. And then just snip. There you go. So I didn't waste the rest of the twine. I've just wasted just that little tiny bit. So that's the front. I'm going to go on. And then we're going to do some stamping. Now, the stamping on this goes off the card, so I'm getting a piece of scrap paper in. And that way, when I stamp off the card, I'm not going to get a mess everywhere. So there's our card. And if we look at the picture, there's stamping all over the place. Stamping full, and then stamping off, and even probably another third layer of stamping. And then it looks like they've sponged the background with the fresh freesia. So I'm going to start with the biggest snowflake, which is in fresh freesia, and checking how I'm opening my card. I'm just going to put some stamping on. And now see, because I stamped off that edge, that's darker than the other side. So if I were to stamp the whole thing, I'm going to get a different look. But if I come over and I stamp that part that's already inked, maybe off the edge, I can get that. And let's just stamp one on the inside, in the middle. And now if I stamp again, I will have a different shade. I could stamp a third time for another shade, but you might not see that one. So that's first generation stamping. That's second generation because the ink has come off. And then you can just probably barely see. That's third. Because this is so light, I didn't actually get 3 good looks out of it. And it does look like they stamped some of the others in the Fresh Freesia, but we'll move over to, I decided to use Gorgeous Gray for the other colors. So we're going to, let's stamp a solid one like here, and then stamp it off maybe down there. I could probably get away with another one. We'll try it in the middle because I'm going to have stuff in the middle covered. So see, that's where the edge was over here, so it didn't come off completely, but that I will probably cover with that piece. I like the lighter shade. I don't like the dark as much, so I'm going to stamp off there to give me a lighter look. Yeah, I do like that better. And then maybe pop one down here. The nice thing with the snowflakes, you can just stamp all over them. So let's go with a dark. And then a lighter one. And then maybe can get away with a lighter one down the bottom. Okay. So I'm just filling it up with snowflakes here, there, and wherever. I think I need a dark one, say, right in there, and then we'll go lighter here, and then lighter still there. Okay, so got snowflakes around. I think I'm going to clean my little one, because looking at the picture, it looks like the small one was done in a couple different colors, so I'm going to clean that. And do that in the Fresh Freesia. Fill in a few of the areas. So do some at the bottom. And now I'm going to stamp off so I get a good image coming through. And maybe do that there. And depending on how hard you stamp off, like if I stamp off gently and then come in, see, that's a bit darker than the one I did over there. I'm just going to put maybe over that there. Just trying to get some of the bits filled in. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. Not exactly as the picture shows, but that's the whole point, is you copy it as best you can. And then by looking at the catalog, sorry about the wobbles, it looks like they've sponged the background in the Fresh Freesia. Okay, so now I'm going to sponge that, which is why I need my scrap with Fresh Freesia. Just put my other inks away before I make a mess. Not sponge it, blend. So I've got my blending brush here, and I've got my Fresh Freesia, and I just rub around to pick up ink from all the different areas of the pad, because if you do it in one spot, you basically just take the ink from that one spot. And it might not look like there's a lot on there, but start from the edge and bring it in, because if you start straight on your cardstock, you might have a big blob. And also, depending on how hard you press, will affect how much ink comes out. I probably need to re-ink my Fresh Freesia. It's getting a bit... So see, there's quite a big blob. So if you come in, so see, I got a big smear there. If you come in from the edge, and I go different directions. And the edges will pick up a bit more ink because they are edges. So if you come in from the edge a bit lighter and then give it pressure once you're on the card, you're not going to have that splotchiness as much. And I'm just kind of doing a circular movement. The other thing too, when you're using the blending brushes, be aware of where you put the ink. So if you put the ink there, but when you're pressing at the top, that ink's not coming off. So just be aware of where your ink is. And so you can come in light and then give it more pressure where you know your ink is. It's gonna show up better. It might not be looking like a lot on the video, but I'll bring it up close and you will see the difference that a bit of blending does to the background. And the nice thing with the snowflakes is you can just create any kind of background you want. So mine's not going to look exactly like the catalog, but it is using the same products they were using. I feel like I need to have another dark snowflake. So see, if I open it up, you can see there is definitely pink there, definite difference from the back. I feel like I need a darker one down the bottom. Oops, losing my name. So I think I will go with, bring out my gorgeous grape again, and I think I will go with the medium one. And just put a bit there, and then maybe with the part that's still inked, I'm just going to come in over there. All right, just give me a bit more dark colors coming through. And then I might just put one of the little guys inked up, maybe about there, and then I can just stamp them off there. Okay, so that gives me a bit darker bit to pop. Okay, so that's basically it for the card. We just need to get some dimensionals and put it together. So this is just left white to stand out. I'm now thinking the words probably should have been in the purple, but I was going with what it said on the catalog. So let's throw some dimensionals on the back here. The other thing too is if you put a dimensional on the back of your ribbon or your twine, it'll hold it in place. And I like to just stagger my dimensionals. No, don't need a whole lot. And that is the card casing the catalog. So make sure you got your folds going the right way before you stick it down. I always like to check that. So it had it slightly offset, but I think it's probably because there was more dark colors over there. So we'll put this offset this side. There we go. So there you go. That's my card. And that's the card from the catalog. So if you can see that. And there's mine. Similar, but not exactly the same. But that's the whole point, is you copy it and make it your own, and it just gives you inspiration for doing more cards. So I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you click on the links below to hop over to other videos so you can see what they've cased from the catalog. And if you like that, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe so you can see other videos that I make, and that way you'll see the next Global Monthly video hop. That was using the Sparkling Snowflakes bundle, which is the stamp set and the punch. Thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.